So some of the resources that I go through with every new client and some of the foundations and the resources to get the best success as a data as a service or DaaS client here working with Audience Lab, I'm going to go through as brief and as clear and concise as possible right here. So what you are looking at first here is what I call the DaaS Client Checklist, kind of minimum requirements for success. I usually give people a little context or background at where this came about. So one of my roles within the company, as many of you guys may know, is Director of Client Relations. Yes, I'm also a co-owner. I do a few things, but within the Director of Client Relations role, I pretty much work as close with our DaaS agency clients, if not closer with them than most anyone on the team. What I've come to find after meeting with about 150 DaaS agency clients over the last year or so is about 100 fell into bucket A. Within the first couple months enrolled into our platform and our software, a successful DaaS agency. About 50 fell into bucket B, not yet successful. That usually occurred because of one of two reasons. Number one, they didn't go through what I'm about to cover here and get proficient at building audiences and pulling the lists, so the data wasn't performing where it should. Or number two, they just weren't really good or didn't close any deals or close enough deals to recoup their Audience Lab monthly investment. So again, the 100 people in bucket A that were competent, that went from competent to proficient at building audiences, that got the results with the data and did close deals, everybody within those 100 people did the 7 things on this checklist. Now, the call where I go through this and kind of give this to people where is number 4 on this checklist. It says go through THO MVP videos and book THO call with Ray. This would be the THO call and part of what I cover on that call. Number 5 is simply open the resources I send you after this call and go through them. So as I mentioned, a lot of these things aren't super complex, but for whatever reason, the 50 people I put into bucket B, and this was to my surprise, there wasn't even one outlier here. All 50 people had missed one, if not more, of the 7 things on this checklist. So again, it's really clear what is required for success. Now, these are laid out in the sequential and or chronological order you would receive these things when you enroll into the Audience Lab software, into our platform, into our DaaS program. Again, if you're going through these in chronological or sequential order, you're on number 4 at this call, go through the email, that's number 5. Once you receive this checklist, go back and make sure you've done 1, 2, and 3. But as I always like to point out, the biggest differentiator between that person A and that person B is number 6 on my screen. And number 6, it says, get proficient at building audiences. What does that mean? Well, almost anybody when they're on this call with me, they probably enrolled into our platform within the last week or so. They've already had a one-on-one onboarding call. They have access into the software and into the tool. They probably watched a couple tutorials. So at that point, they are what I would say is competent or capable to go pull an audience off our platform, to pull a list, whatever you want to call it. List and audience, interchange the words if I say one or the other. They kind of mean the same thing in this context. So yeah, where was I just got sidetracked. Oh yeah, proficient at building audiences. So again, some people were struggling with that, and that's kind of where I would say is the biggest disconnect and why I said this is the most important. So you just enrolled, you're competent, you can go pull out an audience off the platform, but are you proficient? Are you building the highest effective or efficient list possible? I highly doubt it. I don't know anybody that's navigated that learning curve of this software within a week or so, and I don't really expect that, which is why I go on to say, in parentheses, attend data strategy workshops and utilize school tutorials. And I want to be very, very specific based on what I cover with at least 60% of our users. And the last client, Keanu, I was just on with, who I'm going to be sending this to immediately. I may also use this for some type of content or training purposes. But specifically for Keanu, there's 2 tabs here I want to highlight that I think are most relevant. The classroom tab. And again, within our school community, the first one, and I always tell people, sometimes there's 3, but generally speaking, there's 2 modules within here that I really, really recommend you dive into, you consume, and you digest that content. Are there a lot that might look relevant to you guys? I might be working with a cold call client, or I'm doing Facebook ads. I'm looking to get better at cold email. There's probably a lot of stuff that's relevant. But again, to get started, number 1 is getting started with Audience Lab. This is, I always like to tell our clients, this is your at-home, do-it-yourself hub or portal for leveling up your audience building skills. Everything from, hey, how do I build my first audience, to, how do I utilize the pre-mades and utilize the pre-made, tried and tested audiences that are already on the platform, and then just update them with the fresh or the new data. When should I be using the keyword features? How to measure the intent scoring and how that relates to how we reactivate people, et cetera, et cetera. So there's approximately 16 to 20 tutorials within the Getting Started with Audience Lab module. Most of them are pretty short, as you see this one, 3 minutes, 49 seconds or whatever. So that's number 1. For a majority of our clients that are reselling the data, the other one I recommend diving into early on is called the Agency Win Kit. And the big difference between this and the last one is, again, that was somewhere between 16 and 20 modules, and everything within the Getting Started with Audience Lab are all in-platform tutorials, understanding the little intricacies and nuances within the platform features that help you become more proficient, more effective, etc. Now, the difference with this one here, the Agency Win Kit, is I always tell people that are resellers specifically, this is probably the least amount of content or tutorials you need to consume to confidently go resell this to your market. So you just enrolled, what should I focus on first and why? Hey, should I lead with the audience or the pixel? When's a good time to cross-sell or upsell the other tool, etc.? Pricing tutorial, understanding how to package this, position it, price it, etc. So everything you need to go confidently resell this to your existing clients, future clients, etc. The other tab I always highlight for all of our newer users is our calendar tab, which in here, you'll see our weekly workshop series. And for this, let's just focus on the 26th through the 30th. So the bottom week on my screen here. And this shows you our weekly workshop series. And on average, we run like 11 of these a week. I always tell people, I don't recommend or suggest attending 11 hours of workshops. I really don't think that's where anyone's time is best spent. But what I would recommend is, number one, what about 90% of my users tell me in the first month or two is, Ray, by far, the data strategy workshops, which you can see on my screen are run 3 times weekly at 1 p.m. Eastern, are by far the most relevant and most helpful for my first month or two in the program. So the data strategy workshops are run by my best internal audience builders. They're simply showing all of our users on that call all the tips, tricks, tactics that they're using within the platform day in and day out to build these awesome, ideal audiences. They do it for my company and my ads. They do it for our enterprise clients, our done-for-you clients across darn near every niche and industry you could think of. So they're taking all those best practices. Not only that, but they do a live Q&A on each workshop. They'll even screen share and look at an audience you're building and give you a couple tweaks. Hey, Bob, that audience for your roofing client looks pretty solid, but I would add in this keyword parameter, and I would add in, this search filter. And I really think it's going to beef up the quality or the quantity of your audience. So the data strategy workshops, number one. And then my clients would also say, hey, Ray, we might pick 1 or 2, workshops in addition to your data strategy ones that also align to our current objectives. So if my objective as a DaaS agency is to go close more deals, I might want to hop on the DaaS sales workshop every Tuesday at 3 p.m. All about how this is packaged, positioned, priced, overcoming objections. Or if I want to get better at taking the data and embedding it into media buying campaigns and all the little tricks and shortcuts and best practices to get better results in my media buying campaigns, I might want to hop on the media buying workshop, etc. So I tell our users to go into our calendar tab, click on 2 or 3 of these, see which ones apply to you, add them to your calendar, and hop on. They really make a difference. As I cover really quickly, back to this checklist here. So everything below line 10, out of those 100 successful people I had mentioned meeting with, anywhere between 20 and 80% of them also told me that these resources, PDFs, tutorials were really relevant in their success. So kind of unlike the top 7 things on this checklist, which I legit heard about 100% of the time across the board. I can't say the same for these things, but I heard it from enough people where I just wanted to put them all in one place where everybody has access to them. You can kind of figure out what's relevant for yourself. Another document that's included in the recap email that I sent to all my clients after we do this THO call is everything they need to build out their DaaS sales process, whether they're starting from scratch or whether they're just kind of bolting this onto their existing established agency for another way to stand out. Everything that I provide my clients and how I built this company's sales team and multiple other businesses and company sales teams. Everything from the sales process that I build out, step 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you start getting to your calls, call 1, the triage call. Here's a script or a framework for you. Call number 2, your sales or demo call. Here's a script or your framework for you. Maybe you want a pitch deck to have a visual tool to help you sell this. We've already put it together for you. Number 6, maybe you want to hear call recordings. Here's about 20 or so of my sale call recording selling data. Maybe you want to understand some of the terminology and verbiage that is really relevant on sales calls, some of the hooks and the angles. Maybe you want to pick up some of my sales style and adapt it to your approach to help you close more deals. So kind of everything in this document. And as I always told my clients, the guy I'm actually recording this for, Keanu, I've already mentioned this to him. But number 1 in the recap email I sent to all my clients after this call is a same day support booking link that they can use to meet with an expert on our team as needed throughout their time on our platform within our program. So they can use that if they're having any tech problems. Hey, Ray, my audience won't load, or the pixel won't fire, or the enrichment feature is jammed up, whatever. You can book in and get tech help, or you can book in and you're new. Hey, Ray, I didn't go through all those 16 to 20 tutorials. I'm not really confident on pulling a totally, efficient, effective, proficient audience. I want some help from one of your audience builders. Book in with this link when it asks you want help with. Type in audience building, it'll automatically round robin you and give you a one-on-one call with one of my best audience builders on my team, where you can get some one-on-one help. Either building an audience from scratch. Maybe you have one or two that are built, but you're not confident. You want to see if there's any tweaks or any ways to make them stronger. So this is kind of just a brief portion of what I cover on that one-on-one call I do with all of our new clients, some of the resources that we give to them, etc. Keanu specifically, if you have any questions, I know you're already in our school community that I covered. Feel free to shoot me a DM. Happy to make some more one-on-one time. I know you had to hop on to another client call. I totally respect that. I run into that quite often myself, so I get it. But yeah, my man, hopefully this video was helpful for you. Shoot me a DM if there's any questions, anything you want to pick my brain on, or if you ever feel like there's anything I can do to make you more successful, you let me know. I will make the time for you, and that's my promise to you, man. Great. Have a good one.